Hello and welcome to the North Banks Mailbag edition. To keep you going through this international break, I'm your host, Holly. I'm joined by Steph. Hello, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening indeed. How are you after a few days of processing the cup final defeat on Sunday, or shall we not talk about it?
We probably shouldn't talk about it, but I'm all right. I'm enjoying the break from the Premier League stress.
It is welcome, a welcome relief from the kind of relentless nature of the 3-year title challenge that we're in not in the midst of, but coming to the end of, hopefully. As usual, we're going to run through quite a few questions that we've received via our various platforms, and I'll give you a taste of these questions up front in no particular order, and I won't name check the senders right now, but I will do as we go through the podcast. Right, so if we win the Champions League and not the Premier League from the position we're currently in, how would you feel? Please do not clip this, because we will come across as the most entitled, privileged football fan base ever. But these are good questions. Okay. If you could swap one player for a player of another Premier League team, position for position, who would that be? Will Sunday's cup final defeat have any impact on the game at the Etihad? Is Gyokeres actually better than we think? 5 wins and a draw from last 7 games should be enough, assuming we lose at City. 5 wins and a draw from the remaining 6. Can we do it? Simply. Should Rice and Saka have withdrawn from the England squad? We had a lot of pullouts on Monday. Rice and Saka only reporting for the second part of the international break. Should they have pulled out? Right. Okay. There's a flavour for the questions that we've got and that we'll tackle. Which one would you like to start off with?
Oh, you choose, because I may have already forgotten one or two.
Okay. Well, the one that elicited the best response from you, because you haven't seen these questions necessarily,
Nope.
is from where we are right now. Oh, this is from Helen on Patreon, on our Patreon account. It's from Helen, right? From where we are right now, if we were to just win the Champions League from this point, how would you feel? Okay. If we were to win one tournament only, which tournament would you rather that was? Right. So I know the answer to that one.
Yeah, we're league men, aren't we?
Yeah.
I think we're Premier League.
We're a league of gentlemen.
We are a league of very gentlemen. I'm thinking, 38 games in the season against some of the toughest opposition in Europe. You know, it's such a tough league to win, and so the Premier League is it for me.
Okay.
I'm going to take slight umbrage with the question, with the first part, about if we just won the Champions League.
No, but I think that's valid. I think that's fair.
But I don't like the word just.
No,
the
but
Champions
that's fair.
League is massive.
Right? You've just said your focus, or your primary focus is the Premier League. We are 9 points clear. City have a game in hand. They could beat us at the Etihad. It's a 3-point game at that point. Yeah. So it could, but 9 points clear with 7 games to go. But we don't win the league, but we do win the Champions League. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty devastated for a week.
What, between
the two?
How are you feeling? How are you feeling on the 31st of May?
Yeah, just despondent.
No, the 31st of May is the day after, isn't it?
The day after the league or the Champions League?
League.
Oh, is it the Champions League? Oh, the day after the Champions League. I am cock-a-hoop. I am running through the street, top off, swinging my Arsenal shirt around, because we finally also got that monkey off our back about, having never won the European Cup. That would be monumental for Arsenal. Transformative in many ways. And the players as well, we would feel massively, justified in their
Well, we as fans prioritise the Premier League. Jesus has said that he'd rather win the Champions League. Of course, he's already won the Premier League, so he's ticked that box. But so I wonder if the players were honest with themselves, what they would say if they had to tick one box, Premier League or Champions League. Which box would they tick for this season? I would imagine, I'd like to think it would be the Premier League, just because of what you said. Like, it's a 38 game. Yeah. It's a real reflection on the best team, whereas the best team doesn't have to win the Champions League. Porto, Jose Mourinho springs to mind. But good question.
I just think there's a generation that the players, those, you know, especially in their teens and early 20s, for whom the Champions League has taken on a certain kind of prestige and glamour. I mean, it was always there. Like, the European Cup was always, you know, massive. But I don't know, maybe the Premier League has become too... I don't know, it's just background noise maybe in some respects. And then when those Champions League nights happen, it's just a little bit different. And you can't underestimate, and I hate myself for saying this, but the domination of Messi and Ronaldo in the sort of 2010s will have propelled it to a level of prestige that we see the Premier League as, because we, you know, the league for us is our sort of main aim. At the start of the season, what do you want to do? Win the league. If you're in the European Cup, then great, but you always see it as a thing that's like an extra. Yeah, the league for me.
Yeah, the league for me as well. But so you're a little bit disappointed if we just win the Champions League? No,
because it's massive as well. If we were, say we were in this position, but it was City. If the positions reversed and it was City, Liverpool, or Chelsea who have run Champions Leagues, then yeah, I think there would be another level of disappointment. But the fact that we haven't won the Champions League ever, it just wouldn't matter in the end. I'd be devastated for that short period, massively devastated, very disappointed in whatever collapse has happened. But like you say, would it even be a collapse? You can see City winning their game in hand. You can see them. I
can now see them beating us.
Well, this is the thing. Yes, absolutely, because we've literally seen it. And so therefore it becomes a 3-point game. And all you need, it doesn't even need to be a loss and a win here and there. It could be a couple of draws and a win here and there. Could be very telling.
But yeah, I mean, remember before the cup final kicked off, I said to you, I did one of my would you rather things that you love, and I said, would you rather win today but lose to Bournemouth, or would you rather City win today, us beat Bournemouth, and City drop points at Chelsea? And you said, well, I'd rather Bournemouth, we beat Bournemouth, and City drop points at Chelsea.
Because the league is the priority. We knew the Carabao was.
So we've done
fourth.
The first bit. So we're okay.
But your thing, it's just a hypothetical. It's not real.
Well, the first part was real. I was there. It was very real. It's still real. Is that not how it works?
That is absolutely not how it works.
Oh,
Plus, if you've ordained it that way, then you need to let me know some lottery numbers or something.
Yeah, I must have a little delve into the darker recesses of my mind and pluck them out. We're recording this at 9:30 on Thursday evening. The World Cup playoffs are underway, and the reason I'm mentioning this now is it offers me or provides me with a nice little segue into the next question. The next question is from Ben, also on our Patreon, and he no, it's not. It's Brody on Patreon, and he wants to ask a question about Gyokeres, and Gyokeres has just scored a hat-trick for Sweden.
Has he?
Yeah. He's got 6:51 and a penalty on the 73rd minute. Right. And there are some cracking stats doing the rounds. Gyokeres has had 17 shots on target in the Premier League and he scored 11 goals. And Brody found or unearthed some statistics about the percentage of goals, your goal to shot ratio in the Premier League. Gyokeres, and there's a lot of percentages here, so I'll try and round them up or down as per. Gyokeres scores from 25% of his shots on goal, right, in the Premier League. That's second. That's the second best ratio. Thiago's the best with 26.76, so 27%. So Gyokeres is actually 26%, Thiago 27%. Haaland, 22%. Ekitike, 17%. Pedro, 22%. Sesko, 17%. Gyokeres scores with 26% of his shots on goal. So we just need to keep... So he's pretty ruthless in front of goal. His accuracy is really good and his impact is really good. He actually finds the back of the net. Only one striker in the Premier League has a higher percentage than him, and that's Thiago with 27, only 1% higher. So the question is, and he's just scored a hat-trick for Sweden, who will absolutely play to his strengths.
That's what I was going to talk about, yeah.
So is it, and I know this debate's been going, well, basically rumbling on the entire season. Are we playing to his strengths, or is he just not a good enough footballer, And there was that one chance we had, and I flagged it up in our podcast on Monday, the one chance we had at Wembley when Havertz had the initial shot, which he should have scored from. But when the ball rebounded to Saka had two bites at the cherry. On both occasions, Gyokeres was in the middle. Now, he wasn't completely unmarked, but he was in a better position to score than Saka was. And Saka didn't even look at two for him at all. Mm-hmm. So... So are we simply not playing to his skill set? Which begs the question, why did we sign him? And we are talking about, before we start recording, we start talking about transfers, and I don't want to talk about transfers, but people are genuinely thinking that we need a striker in the summer after having bought a striker last summer. So where are you on this?
Well, I'm of the opinion that both can be true. That on the one hand, we're not necessarily playing to his strengths because we have a massive tendency to overplay sometimes. But at the same time, I'm not sure he is a brilliant footballer either. He's a good finisher, but that's fine if you're setting him up in that way to just finish those off. That's what I want. The stats are interesting because you're talking about shots on target that are converted into goals. I also would like to know the volume of shots. My guess is someone like Haaland particularly, and maybe Ekitike as well, are probably having a higher number of shots overall. And it's one of those things that, because we've mentioned it before, the point is to have a high enough volume of shots so that the ones that are missed are forgotten about. And the problem is, I'm not sure Arsenal, not just Gyokeres, but not Arsenal generally, are not creating a high enough volume of shots across most games. There's a few games where we absolutely do. I think Leverkusen at home, we were certainly forthright in our attack and the way we bossed it, which was why it's such a shame that Eze got injured, because he looked way more confident, way more direct. He took that absolute rasper of a shot that he scored and then went injured. So, yeah. I saw a brilliant video online where this guy, I would love to credit him, but I don't know who he was. He said statistics are like bikinis. He says, bikinis let you see things that are interesting, but they also hide things that are also interesting. And so in terms of statistics, that thing about shot conversion, very good. But again, shot creation, how many chances are you creating in a game? Is there a player? I don't know. Maybe Gyokeres' conversion rate is so good because we only create chances for him that are ones he should be putting away. Do you know what I mean? Whereas, I don't know, maybe...
He has scored a few goals from like 2 yards, hasn't he?
Exactly. So it's... Yeah.
Yeah, but had Saka crossed to him, he'd have scored another goal from 4 yards.
But this is the thing, isn't it? And
possibly.
there's been a few creeping comments about, does Saka use him enough? Have they got enough of a relationship? Because everyone's crying out for Ben White overlapping Saka so he can draw defenders away. And it's like, well, as much as we love Saka, he's not been in such form that he can play in a way that's going to play just to his strengths. He's got to factor in his teammates as well. The fact that the jury's still slightly out, leaves us with a few questions. And with the changes that are likely to come in the squad this summer, I know we're not really talking about transfers, but clearly one or two of the front line will be moving on. And so maybe there's space for someone to add in a bit of variety, a bit more texture.
Well, we have a malfunctioning forward line at the moment.
Exactly. It's not been up there, has it?
And that's including, Gyokeres is probably the highest performing of the front line.
Over the whole season?
Yeah.
Yeah, injuries notwithstanding to the likes of...
Erdegaard has played so few games.
And Havertz has been injured, yeah.
Eze the same, and now he's injured, and Havertz been injured, and Trossard had a clutch spell, but he's not delivered in the last 2-3 months. Martinelli frustrates in the Premier League, certainly, and Saka has been underwhelming all season by his high standards. Madueke has probably, behind Gyokeres for me, been the most potent of our attackers, and obviously the question needs to be, I think we need to talk about whether whether Saka's guaranteed to start in the big games whilst he's finding his form. I'm just being distracted. In the 86th minute in these World Cup qualifiers, and of course this will be completely redundant for people listening and watching, Wales have conceded an equaliser, Edin Dzeko, and more annoyingly for me, the Republic of Ireland have also conceded an 86th minute equaliser.
Mate.
So I'm assuming, does it go to extra time and penalties?
I've got no idea.
We'll find out. Christian Norgard has actually scored for Denmark.
Good.
So they're 4-0 up against North Macedonia. They're going through. Right. Yeah, the Gyokeres, I don't know. I did kind of came to the quiet conclusion last week that we need to do better than... I think watching Alvarez play for Atletico Madrid against Spurs in the first game certainly just made me pine for him. Mm-hmm. Only because we were linked to him in the summer as well, and I didn't think it was realistic because of the fee. I mean, I think they paid 90 million quid for him or something like that. Yeah. So it would take another 110 million pounds purchase to secure his services. But
what a player!
He's clinical, and we don't have that. Saka was that.
Would he replace Jesus in the front line?
Well, I think a combination of Jesus and Trossard,
right,
and or Martinelli. I think he can play like centre left.
Yeah,
I think but like he replaces Gyokeres in the front line. That's who he replaces. Okay, back to the Premier League and Ben on Patreon. Let's assume City win all 8 remaining games of theirs. So that means they beat us. That means we need 5 wins and a draw from our remaining 6 games. Is this achievable? Let me run through the fixtures before you answer. 4 home games: Bournemouth, Newcastle, Fulham, Burnley. 2 away games: Palace and West Ham. Now, you take those fixtures away from this context, and you put all of them in a run in August and September. You would be disappointed if we didn't win all those games. Well, I would anyway. I'll run through them. Home Bournemouth, home Newcastle, home Fulham, home Burnley, away Palace, away West Ham. We should be winning all of those games. I'm not saying we will. But you just transfer that spell of games to August, September, October time. How many points would you be wanting from those 6 games?
Yeah, I'd be wanting a lot. I was just trying to think if there were any particular fixtures that were like bogey fixtures in some way. So if it was Fulham away, I'd be a bit reserved. If it was Newcastle away, I'd
Bournemouth
be
at
even
home?
more so reserved. Bournemouth they beat us last season, but we definitely had one eye on Champions League semi-final. Even
Palace away?
Do you know what? West Ham away? They can be really annoying. And they have been in recent seasons. Last season, if I remember rightly, was it last season away at West Ham? Was that crap crazy game that was like 5-2 at half time? Because I watched the first half and then had to go to a gig at Ali Pali, and I saw all the goals, and there were 7 of them in the first half. So that's a nuts game. We drew 2-2 at West Ham in one of the seasons where
Saka missed a penalty.
We fell
in the
short.
game.
Yeah, that was painful. And the fact that they're going for relegation. Like you say, were it in September, October, probably wouldn't think much about it. But this is why I always say narrative, context is key. It's so important.
Sorry, I'd rather be playing these fixtures than going to Chelsea on the 12th of April, for example.
Massively.
Do City have to go to Everton as well?
Don't know.
Not 100% on that one.
I haven't looked at their fixtures.
So is it achievable then?
It's achievable.
Factor in the context.
It's achievable even with the context. The worry is now, because everyone's trying to talk it up, that it's about how we recover from the disappointment of the Carabao. It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter.
We play 2 games in 2 different competitions before we play in the league.
Yeah.
Again. So even if we were to go out against Southampton, which will be a second-string team we put out, and Southampton are on a decent bit of form. However, Southampton are going for playoffs, so they won't necessarily want to risk.
Nope.
Their priority will be the playoffs.
Yeah.
We'll review that game next week when it's on the horizon, and then it's Sporting away. Is it the Tuesday or the Wednesday?
Tuesday.
Okay, that's better.
Long day travel.
So Tuesday away, and then it's Saturday. Is it a Saturday lunchtime kickoff against Bournemouth?
I don't know what time the lunchtime kick. It is lunchtime.
Right.
Don't like it, but yeah.
Look. So Ben asks, "Is it achievable?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's achievable.
I mean, we have got ourselves into a fantastic position, and that's assuming City win all 8 games. And they've shown no evidence that they are capable of that this season so far. Doesn't mean that they won't do it.
Well, like you say, they've got Chelsea away in the first game back in the league.
Yeah, and that's the day after we play.
They've got Liverpool in the Cup. All games that they need to probably go in a bit heavier than they probably would have hoped to. Because
they're not playing Champions League ties now, are they?
They're not, so they can go a little bit stronger. But, I mean, their opposition will be certainly going for it because they haven't got Champions League. Liverpool do, but Liverpool also have a manager that's under a lot of criticism at the moment. And, I was looking just before we came on and lots of talk of Alonso being set up to come in and replace Slot. Big talk. Which would be interesting. So, yeah, will it go all our way? I'm not sure. Just law of averages. I could see a draw in there somewhere. But nor do I necessarily see that for City. All depends. I mean, they might use it as a thing to galvanise them. Because like you said, they had a very disappointing couple of weeks in the run-up to the Carabao that we wouldn't have swapped. Because we wanted to stay in the FA Cup, we wanted to stay in the Champions League, we wanted to increase our lead at the top of the Premier League. So, yeah.
But they didn't actually play.
Well, we said,
play well against us.
Yeah.
They didn't have to.
No.
Right. I'm just checking out. So they've got to go to Chelsea. See now, right? Then they host us. Okay, so we're assuming they win that game. They travel to Burnley. Burnley would probably be relegated by then, you would think.
Really?
3 games' time. Well, there are only 4 games left after that. I don't know the points tally, but they could be down.
Won't be far off, will it?
But Burnley away is more difficult than Burnley at home. Yes, they travel to I was going to say Goodison, but they travel to Everton,
Mm.
first game in May. They host Brentford, who could be going for Europe. So could Everton, actually.
Yep.
And then they travel to Bournemouth. Narrative, Semenyo.
Yep.
And then they host Villa on the last day of the season.
Who will be trying to secure Champions League.
Could be just trying to secure Champions League. I hope they are.
Interesting.
So they've got a much more difficult...
That is much more difficult.
Right?
If you told me we had their fixtures, I'd be going, it's not happening.
No, I'd be I'd be going into a social media blackout phase.
So yeah, look, they're more than capable of doing it in the same way we are, but they're also more than capable, based on this season, of not doing it. So it is so tense. This was supposed to be a break from the stress.
Okay, well, here's a more light-hearted question for you. Also from Ben, again, on our Patreon. If you could swap one player, position for position, from another team in the Premier League, who would that be? He lists some examples, like Gyokeres for Haaland, although he does qualify that by saying he's not sure Haaland would actually score a lot of goals in our setup.
Which is interesting.
Ekitike as a wide striker, maybe a wide left player, and Morgan Rogers as a number 10. I'm not sure if he listed Semenyo. I think I wrote, someone else mentioned Semenyo, but for me, the Semenyo for Martinelli or stroke Trossard would have been the one. And the frustration is that it could have happened.
Yeah.
And I think, although Man City fans aren't as cock-a-hoop about Semenyo as you might imagine. I don't know, this is pre-Carling League Cup final, that he'd gone on an initial scoring spree, but contributed very little else.
Right.
And so when he stopped scoring, there wasn't a lot for him to do. And his arrival dovetailed with Haaland becoming like really kind of stunted in his output. Okay. So, but anyway, I think he's a step up from, I know we're linked with like Anthony Gordon in the summer, and I'm not sure Anthony Gordon, although he's on a scoring spree at the moment himself, injury-wise, I'm not convinced by him either. I'm not sure he's a big enough upgrade on Martinelli and Trossard. But anyway, so you've had to think about it.
Well, you've said a lot of the ones. I mean, Semenyo probably would top my list. I think he's had an amazing season. I think he's that mercurial talent. I think he would be an upgrade on the left-hand side. And that's where I'm looking at this. I'm looking at it from an Arsenal team point of view. Where could we make that gain? You know, who's the player that could be a piece in the jigsaw, as it were? Well, the keeper, no. The back four...
Right back?
I mean, there's an argument, but I don't know who I'd be looking at elsewhere. That's the thing.
Name a better right back in the Premier League. Reece James?
Not than Timber.
Can't stay fit.
No, and he's also been playing more in midfield. I don't know if I'd make a massive upgrade in midfield, although having a fit, creative midfielder would be delightful to have at the moment. Who that is, I mean, the Premier League does seem to lack in that kind of creative player with huge vision and amazing passing, and you know, a De Bruyne and Ozil, that kind of player. When signed, people thought that might be Wirtz, but he's been pretty underwhelming. Cherky, fits and starts. I mean, epitomised pretty much by his performance in the cup final, which was like what he's known for in the cup final is one moment where he's completely on his own in space and he just does a few keepy-uppies. Like, wow. Like, don't care about that. Like, I want someone who's going to play a pass that completely bypasses our back four, or plays such a ball that the striker basically can't miss. You know, what he did there, like, really? So, yeah, I'm looking around and I'm...
Bruno Fernandes.
I mean, yeah. What he does for United and what he's done for United. I mean, I hate the guy because he's so easy to dislike.
I felt instantly like I needed to wash my mouth out with soap.
Quite surprised you said it, to be honest.
But he's what you speak of.
He is the centrepiece of that United team. He makes everything happen. Whether he's on set piece duty, whether he's passing between the lines, he never hides. Like, for all his like gesticulation, like, he does lead on the pitch, and he's been incredible for them. Yeah, I mean, another one that flashed into my head was like Jared Bowen, and I can't believe I'm going to say that because of where West Ham's position. But you know, if he was on our left side. He seems to be a bit of an appearance monster. He might have had more injuries than I know.
Does he play from the left? I thought he played from the right.
Well, I mean, I think
Somerville plays from the left, doesn't he?
Kind of do either, can't he? But yeah, I like him. Somerville's another one.
What about a striker?
Are there any strikers out there? I mean, Thiago was a bit of a surprise because he's your classic come out of nowhere for Brentford this season. I'm not digging. I mean, Ekitike has probably been one of the more impressive striker signings this season.
Also, Ekitike, I think, is future-proof as well. I'd love him at Arsenal. Like, his profile obviously reminds us of Henry's profile.
We said similar about Alexander Isak.
And I still believe that. He's just injured.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Which is a problem for Liverpool, because they've got two players of identical profile, and the two of them, one of them is going to be out of position.
Yeah.
Like, when they're both fit. Or they both won't play. They'll
in which case their nose will be out of joint.
Both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So whoever comes in to replace Slot, which I'm assuming somebody will, has a bit of an issue there, because that squad is imbalanced. Also, like, Salah has announced he's leaving, and they're allowing him to leave a year early. Van Dijk is not the defender he was, and they missed out on Mark Gay, who went to City. Would have been a perfect heir apparent to that centre-back position. Yeah, I haven't got any other players. I mean, Ekitike I'd love at Arsenal. But if you look at our team and you look at which positions we're weakest, inverted commas, in our defence, I mean, the fact that we are where we are in the league with a misfiring front line is pretty impressive. And it is down to our defensive unit and our midfield unit. Which brings me on to my next question, or the next question. A couple of people have put it in about, and I've mentioned it a couple of times in previous podcasts, and others have echoed it. And I've seen other people talk about it now with greater frequency. Do we need the two number sixes? Do we need Rice and Zubimendi? Could Rice play as a 6 with 2 8s in front? Nominations or nominees for the 8: Ødegaard, Havertz, Saka, Eze, etc. Marino obviously is not fit. I know Eze's not fit either, but what do you think?
I think it depends on the profile of player, because if you're talking about the two number 8s, I think not Eze and Ødegaard together would probably make us a bit too slight. Depends on, with them, it depends on the opposition.
And also the role that Ødegaard is tasked with.
Yeah, because he does that, come to the quarterback position and try and build from the back and play through the lines, which has its own value.
Well, we could have done with that on Sunday.
Well, 100%. But yeah, I think at home against a certain kind of opposition, that could be useful.
Bournemouth.
Yeah, and I think more as a default position, either Rice or Zubimendi as the holder with Havertz. I think dovetailing with Eze or Ødegaard would work better, certainly. But yeah, I mean, that said, I said it before, you know, Zubimendi is having great output this season. They are quality players. They can offer things in attack. It's just that Rice is not likely to hold a higher position in the pitch when he's in that role, because he's just all action. He likes to be everywhere. Whereas I think what was pleasing about Eze's form coming to the fore and improving was that he was holding that higher position, being that little bit closer to Gyokeres, making things happen with either Trossard or Saka on the wing, and as an auxiliary kind of striker, more than, you know, trying to be everywhere or not really knowing where he should be. He'd began to find space. You showed us a heat map of his game against, was it Everton or Leverkusen? Can't remember which one, but it was all over because he went looking for the space rather than thinking, okay, I've got to be in this role in this system. I go where the space is, and yeah, he began to have the initiative and the intuition to work that out. So we need a player like that. Whereas I think Havertz still gives you a physical presence. Obviously, he's tall, he's big, strong, but he also has that nous sometimes as well.
Okay, applying all this thinking to the Etihad game, which is only in 2 league games' time. We're home to Bournemouth, then we're away to City. With the hindsight of having sat through Sunday's League Cup final, how do we set up in this game? What's Arteta learned? What do you want him to have learned?
I want him to have learned to be more demanding of his players in an attacking sense. That how can I word it? That tactic of moving Havertz out wide, pinging a ball diagonal for no one to pick up. I mean, it was the repetitiveness of it. Look, you're going to mix and vary your play, fine. But I go back to when they were doing that slow build-up from the back, and Rice is looking, he's crying out for someone to pass to. And Saka's just stood on the fullback, static, not moving. Gyokeres and Havertz are in the front line, not really moving for it. And it just needed way more dynamism.
Okay, think about personnel. Eze's not likely to be back in time for that game. He was out for 4 weeks, and that would be 4 weeks from the time he got...
So even if he's back, he won't be back to start.
He won't start. Odegaard, on the other hand, is expected to be able to start. So I'd imagine he would... If he doesn't start against Southampton, I'd imagine he'd come on and get 20 minutes at the end of the Southampton game. And then you've got Sporting, you get a little bit further, and then you've got Bournemouth. And then, so by the time you've got Sporting again, and then you've got City. So by the time, fingers crossed, you get to the City game, Odegaard is up to speed again.
Could be.
So
has to be.
You know, what team do we put out against City in the absence of Eze with that performance on Sunday fresh in the memory?
Well, the problem is it will be caveated by who is available.
Well, based on who's available now?
I don't know, because I can see him looking at, say, Odegaard's not available now.
No. Okay, but we expect him to be. Like, we know Eze's...
Well, he'll definitely go with Odegaard. I mean, he'll go with Odegaard coupled with Rice and Zubamendi in midfield.
What about your two fullbacks?
He's tried and trusted. Fullbacks will be an interesting one. I know Arteta will probably go with Timber just because of the defensive security. Could that give him licence to maybe opt for Calafiori? Because Calafiori now is starting to piece together a brilliant showreel just against Man City. Beautiful goal at the Etihad. Easily the most impactful player on Sunday, albeit, too little too late, as it were. So
I just checked. He played the full 90 minutes for Italy this evening against Northern Ireland.
As he's bound to,
So they play again on Tuesday, I think. Might be Monday, I don't know.
But still.
So...
But he comes through that. We completely rest him against Southampton. And then maybe use him... You'd probably go with Nkapie against Sporting away. That's fine. I can deal with that. Calafiori on for a few minutes.
Do you know who Ecuador are playing in these?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All up on my Ecuadorian football. No, haven't got a clue.
I'm just wondering what his travel's like, because he won't play against
Worse,
Southampton.
Ecuador.
Well, I don't know, but they're not, like Brazil were playing in America, so...
They were. You're absolutely right. I literally can't find them in the time we've got.
So if you play Timber, and Timber was... it was almost a surprise that Timber didn't make the... He was named in the Dutch squad, so they were expecting him to be close. So you would imagine that 2 weeks later he'll be fine. Although you never know with us this season. But anyway, we'll assume Timber's fine. So Timber plays at right back, and I think that's fine at the Etihad, definitely. If he plays at right back, then I think you can afford Calafiori and tell Timber not to not to kind of venture too far infield and up front. Go on, who are Ecuador playing?
They are playing away in Morocco and the Netherlands. That's not very far.
This is getting closer.
In broadly speaking terms. That's all right.
Is it Morocco, then the Netherlands? Is
Morocco,
that the way?
then the Netherlands.
Okay.
So Timber up against Nkapie.
Well, Timber's not playing. He's not there.
No. Oh, okay. He's pulled out. Yeah, sorry.
And who gets the... No, listen, someone else posed the question. I didn't write down who it was. Should Dowman be considered a viable first-team option? And I like the question because Arteta chose not to bring him on and brought Jesus on Sunday. For me, yeah, you're shaking your head. That was a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And I know he's only 16, but he trusted him after 74 minutes at home to Everton. He trusted Dowman over Jesus, and it's not as if Dowman let him down. He completely transformed that game, got an assist, like a pre-assist assist with the cross for the first goal, and scored the second goal.
Yeah.
For me, he absolutely should have come on. The second we went 2-0 down, we knew City would then sit back, and we needed somebody to commit players, run with the ball, dribble, and create space. That's Dowman on the bench, surely. So should he be a viable option? Now, I don't think he's viable enough to start.
No. And I think in terms of protection, I'd be all for that. But as an impact off the bench, how can you look? I mean, we just look at that bench. Like Gabriel Jesus hasn't given us much for a while now. And we never expected him to do anything against City. Whereas we're looking at it, and as would City as well, Max Dowman comes on. Oh, we don't know what we're going to get.
Yeah.
So it's much more of a roll of the dice. And he's young enough. He's got that insulation from his age of being protected from massive amount of criticism. Like it doesn't matter.
He's not a defender. If he misses a chance,
and he's not
misses a chance. He's not going to like poor old Marley Salmon against whoever it was he played. Made a mistake, cost us a goal.
Kinda, yeah.
Because he's a defender.
Yeah.
It's like, although he wasn't solely culpable for that one.
No,
absolutely, but.
Yeah.
So how's it going to play out against City then?
I don't know.
How are we going to do?
I don't know. Let's not go there. It's too far away. We're supposed to be having a break from the Premier League. Let's get their fit first of all as a team before we think about anything else. We've got some.
Let's beat
games.
Bournemouth.
Beat Bournemouth.
And let City drop points at Chelsea.
Cool.
Come on, LinkedIn. You can do it. Respect the ball.
Always rated him. Always rated him.
Yeah, top quality. A manager and person he is. Sorted. Right, Dan. Hello, Dan, on Facebook. Dan is fuming. And I have to agree with him as well. Should Rice and Saka have been slightly more professional and loyal to their club and withdrawn from the England squad?
I mean, I think so. Only because their standing in the England team is so high, Tuchel doesn't need to know anything. I mean, maybe have them there as part of the group just for that kind of...
Which might happen.
Social part. Yeah, it might happen. Yeah.
We don't know they're going to start.
But they are, aren't they? They're going to play in that second game against Uruguay. I know it. I just know it.
Is it at Wembley?
It must be. Yeah, I think so.
So they at least haven't got any travel.
Yeah, great. I just don't want them playing for England. Just don't.
No.
They won't learn anything new about Saka or Rice or about the relationships that they can have with others on the pitch. Because actually, of all the two players in the England team, they are their own thing. Rice. It doesn't matter who you put next to Rice. It doesn't really matter who you put in tandem with Saka, because Saka will be playing with Kane and they've got a fairly decent relationship at international
What
level.
about allowing Saka to play into some form?
I get it, but I also can't help feeling, watching him, that it's not just about form. That there's a legginess, there's an injury maybe underlying it as well.
Well, then he would have pulled out if there was. He would have been withdrawn if there was.
Well, I don't know.
Because the other players did. I mean, I think it was you that suggested that the players may have had a little chat or got together and said, look...
just conjecture, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but enough of them did withdraw.
Yeah.
Gabriel and Saliba in particular.
There's a few of them. I mean, Trossard's over 30 now. Gabriel got his last injury that was a bad one for Brazil in a meaningless game. So he's
at the Emirates.
He's probably got some things with that. The Saliba ankle has been an issue for him pretty much all season. So that's not even a thing. And Timber hadn't played for us for the last couple of weeks because of a knock anyway. So there's only really Gabriel and Trossard that were something of a surprise. And even Trossard missed a game, didn't he, in recent weeks? So, yeah. But for me, Saka, there was just something about his performance, especially at Wembley, where it felt like he was having periods in the game to sit off and rest because he was managing his pace throughout it. And that would be a worry for me. That's why I want him withdrawn. The form thing is what it is, really.
Yeah, I think we're into the second half of extra time in the playoffs. It's 1-1 still Wales, Bosnia, and 2-2. The boys in green, 2-2 still. I think that's. I'm through all my questions, haven't I?
Oh, yeah. I've got a few. Because you dealt with the Patreon the most, and thank you to everyone who posted on there. I did get one or two off social media. So another friend of the podcast, Tabs. Hello, Tabs. I will see you, Tabs, in the Southampton away end and in Lisbon as well. Credits have come down enough for him to be able to get tickets to those.
Two miserable gits together.
Don't care. Well, this is the thing. I thought I was a miserable git, Eeyore over here.
Tabs.
But then, I don't know, Tabs, yeah, a couple of things. Right, listen to this. Number one, I quite like this bit of a cheeky one. Who plays in goal versus Southampton?
Kepa.
Kepa for me as well, yeah. I mean, it's our second.
And I think he should.
I don't mind Kepa getting us to a final. Yeah. As long as he doesn't play in the final.
I don't mind Kepa playing it away at Southampton because it's not Man City. If the game was at the Etihad, I'd be saying Raya. If the 100%. Game was against Liverpool, I'd be saying Raya because I want to get through to the semi-final of the FA Cup.
Yeah,
but Kepa's good enough to do that against Southampton.
Should be.
Okay.
And then we've sort of talked about this, but it's the way he's couched them that I just want to reiterate. So I'm going to ask both his questions. He's got two more. The second one is, would you lot be disappointed if we only won the league? And what are we realistically winning this season?
He's asked me that question before, and I said no. I would not be disappointed if we only won the league. I'd be absolutely delighted.
Me too.
If we only won the league.
21 years.
22.
22 years, and we value it above all others, judge only league form. Now, if we go on to win the next 3, maybe even 4 league titles, then I'm going to start prioritising the Champions League.
Amen. And what are we realistically winning? From this position we're in now, I don't think you can... The fact that Barcelona and Bayern Munich stand in our way to winning the Champions League, I think is massive. I don't think you can rate our chances too highly there at all, especially after the performance we put in against Man City in the League Cup final. FA Cup offers, like, if we get a kind semi-final draw, so if we do get the winners, if we get through Southampton, and then if we get the winners of the Leeds West Ham game, is it Leeds West Ham or Brentford? What is it?
It is Leeds West Ham, yeah.
Right, if we get the winner of that tie in the semi-final, then we're still going to get one of Liverpool, City or Chelsea in the final, and that's going to be a difficult game as well, as was illustrated on Sunday in a one-off game. We now don't know what Arsenal's going to turn up, because I did not imagine for a second that we'd get the Arsenal we got on Sunday against a Man City team who were there for the beating. Like, that was clear, and I don't think Man City played particularly well. We certainly played a lot poorer than City played superior. If you get my drift.
Yeah.
So no, I don't. I think we'll win. I think at this point it's the Premier League. that's all we'll win, and that suits me fine.
Brilliant.
What about you?
Yeah, I'm the same. I think, realistically, league position, games left.
Yeah.
We should feel realistic about that, but the others are a bit of a leap. So, yeah. But I will not be disappointed if that's the only thing we win. I don't like that. No.
Tabs, for the record, Tabs will be disappointed.
Well, good for him.
Git. If you're listening, Tabs, I was smiling when I said that.
A final question from JS Burns on BlueSky, jsburns.bsky.social, says, why do we look so dysfunctional with a disconnect between defence and attack? Is it the absence of Odegaard?
We've kind of touched on that
a bit.
Quite a few times. Yeah. Or is it tactics? I think it was tactics against City, to be fair.
Yep. Slow build up and then go long with no press up to try and win those second balls. City could just recycle it every time. They stood off us, waited until we got impatient, went long, and then all of a sudden they could get the ball back too easily for us to be able to do anything with it, unfortunately.
Would Odegaard have made a difference to that?
Yeah, because he'd have got his foot on the ball. He would have come into that quarterback position more than Rice did, so that Rice could be that person mopping up and trying to win things. That's what he's so good at and reading in the game.
We haven't exactly been the most fluent even with Odegaard, though.
No, we haven't. Because again, whether it's consistency, run of games, maybe we need to be a bit braver. Maybe we need a player like Madueke who, he doesn't know half the time what way he's going to go, so the defenders don't. And our players need to be therefore on their toes, ready to try and anticipate what he's going to do. So, yeah, need to mix it up a little bit. Or get the ball onto Dowman and he can dribble.
Or is it Arteta?
Well, I mean, that's what we're saying, isn't it? That he needs to vary it up, and that comes from the manager.
I mean, it's quite exciting, really, if you think about it. If we've got such a dysfunctional attack at the moment, imagine if we managed to sort that out in the summer.
Well, exactly. That would be nice.
We'd be unstoppable.
And if they change these rules at corners so you can't hold, bring it on.
Gabriel will have
He'll have a field
goals.
day. Yeah, be our top scorer, be the new Gyokeres.
Are we out on the questions then?
We are out on the questions.
Okay, so one other note or observation I had today was the key match incidents panel. This is the most, you said it, this is the most make it make sense example I think I've ever seen. The Kai Havertz penalty that wasn't awarded against Everton. I think when everybody rewatched it, they thought, well, that was clearly a penalty.
Yep.
There are 5 people who sit on this panel, the key match incidents panel. All 5 of them agreed that the on-pitch referee should have awarded a penalty. All 5 of them. The same 5 people in the next instant said that VAR did not make a mistake by not interfering. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but if all 5 people said the referee got it wrong, surely that is the very definition of clear and obvious error for which VAR was introduced. I don't understand it. I mean, it has that. I mean, I'm assuming these are. I mean, this is maybe where I'm going wrong. I'm assuming these are intelligent individuals. Surely they understand that these two things are contradictory.
Well, as you said, what it means is they get to log it as as not an error by VAR. Yeah.
The errors that referees have made has gone up in the last 2 months this season.
Why?
That comes as very little surprise to anybody who's watched.
Why would it go the other way? They've
one game of football.
They've not improved. Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, hang on. What am I doing? Okay, still 1-1, still 2-2. Right. Anything else?
No, that's all from me. Oh, there's one thing. Just well done to the Arsenal women. They played Chelsea in a rain-soaked, awful weather game against Chelsea in the Champions League at the Emirates, first leg. And having watched the game, Arsenal have the 3-1 scoreline flatters them immensely because they should have conceded a goal that was chalked off for a foul that really wasn't. Chelsea had hit the woodwork twice when Arsenal then scored. Then Chloe Kelly hits a shot from distance that I'm not sure how it crept in, but it was a great shot. Lauren James scores an absolute worldie of a goal. I was slightly critical of the keeper, but actually on replays, I mean, Helen, who messaged into our Patreon, me and her were chatting about it. Yeah, on replays, I don't know what more the keeper could have done. The dip on the ball was unreal. Only to then Alessa Russo, just, 2 goals. Top scoring English player in the Women's Champions League now, all time. They're a Champions League team. If only we could say this about the men. The women. Well done. That's amazing. 2-goal lead to Chelsea. That's in a great position. That was a very, very good.
Champions.
Yeah, it was very, very good result. I'm not sure the performance was as great as it suggested, but doesn't matter.
But how many times have you watched the women play where they've spurned chance after chance
and
after
battered
chance?
a team? Yeah.
So about time it went the other way.
Good. Yeah, very, very good. I'll be watching the second leg.
I mean, it went the other way in the Champions League final last season as well. So maybe it's our competition.
And they are missing a few players as well, particularly at the back. The defence. Someone posted a picture, and it was a picture of a horse, and the back end was a beautifully rendered, like very realistic drawing of it, and said, "This is Arsenal's attack." And then as it got to the front, it was this like childlike drawing, and going, "This is Arsenal's defence." So they
in reverse for the men's.
Yeah, I know they are sort of patching things together a little bit. Yeah, if we could combine, that's it, the women's attack with the men's defence, we'd have like a super team. It'd be like the Power Rangers. So, yeah, up the women and looking forward to the second leg.
Is that a quarter-final?
Was it quarter-final? You've put me on the spot now. You keep asking me these questions that I don't know that I really should know. That is quarter-finals. Yes, sorry.
Okay, so at the same stage as the men's. So we'll take our lead from them, although we didn't take our lead from them last season.
And it should be said, I mean, Man United are in the one of the other quarterfinals. They lost 3-2 at home to Bayern. Barcelona beat Real Madrid 6-2. I'm just looking at the results here. And then Wolfsburg beat Lyon 1-0. So, yeah.
So it's all the usuals.
Yeah, it is a little bit, as I'm sure it will be in the Champions League by the time we get... And us.
Or Sporting.
Because we got the easy draw, didn't we? We got the easy draw.
Yeah, well, it is a little bit easier than Liverpool playing PSG, who've just had their league game postponed.
But why don't the Premier League do that? I don't get it. It's better for the Premier League if their teams do better in Europe. It doesn't make any sense. I totally understand why the French league do it. Now, it's really harsh on Lens, who are second. Of course, they want to play their game, and I don't think it should move. But
okay, so Liverpool are due to play Fulham. What about all the people who've booked flights and hotels?
You're speaking to someone who does it. No, I don't. Like I just said, I don't think the game should be moved. France and the French league has a history of doing this.
Well, they did it for PSG in the last round
Exactly.
as well.
So if it comes to these administrative decisions, from a football Premier League, we want our teams to do well point of view, I get it. From a human point of view, yes, ridiculous changing these things. Should be said as well, it's probably more of a concern in Britain because I think the away fan culture is more of a thing. I don't know if supporters travel as much or in as bigger numbers in France. Do they? It's just a bigger country. It's a much bigger country to get around.
Oh, well, it doesn't bother me. I don't mind if PSG knock Liverpool out. In fact, I'd quite like it.
Me too.
Yes, exactly.
I hate playing English teams in Europe. Yeah, get in the bin.
Okay, if we wrap up now, we'll be able to watch the penalty shootout in these two games. I'm assuming there will be one. Okay, we're going to meet up again in a few days, and we're going to have a very light-hearted podcast a complete break from Premier League and Champions League. It'll be lists of Arsenal 11s and what have you, the best haircuts to have played for Arsenal, or whatever we come up with and whatever contributions we get from our listeners. So look out for that. In the meantime, enjoy watching, listening to this one. Thank you very much for doing so. Enjoy your break from Arsenal. Enjoy some of the international football. Go touch some grass, whatever tickles your fancy. But in the meantime, have a great time, and we'll say goodbye. Goodbye.
See ya.
The North Bank, an Arsenal podcast. Subscribe, rate and review on your app, and find us on your socials at North Bank Pod. Email hello@thenorthbankafc.com and check out our website, thenorthbankafc.com. Produced by the Podcast Company.